When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited to make an announcement today that we have Sam and Brandy Barnes from the Denver, Colorado area have joined us at EXP. I'm just super excited. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, doing great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, Sam and Brandy have combined 27, I think, plus years in the real estate industry. In the top 5% nationwide, have their own team that they've been growing and been friends of mine for several years, and I'm super excited that we're now partners, and we just want to kind of unpack your guys' story and go ahead and just give us some background about your real estate careers and what you guys been up to.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and start. So I've been in the real estate industry. This is my 19th year now, and got started because I was in the corporate world and doing well, but Brandy and I actually had a great opportunity. We had kids, twins, found out we were pregnant with twins, and I wanted to make a transition in life to give myself the opportunity to have some freedom of time and obviously the ability to make some good income. And I went into the real estate world, and thankfully it's been a blessing, and I've never looked back.
Yeah, absolutely. I stayed home with the boys for the first, I think, 6 or 7 years, and then I worked at their school for a few years. And it was nice to be with them at school, but definitely real estate was something that I was more familiar with. I have some past in commercial real estate. So as Sam was doing real estate and thinking about putting together a team, I decided to join his team and become partners with Sam.
And how my wife and I were on the same team for many years when I had my real estate business in New York, and we actually even shared a little office together face to face, and it was fine. And now we're working together at EXP. I know there can be some challenges, right? Husband and wife teams, but I know it's been really good for us. Any advice to any other husband and wife teams out there that comes to your mind as we before we jump into everything?
Brandy?
No, I mean, I think we've done really well together. I think Sam was a little skeptical at first because I definitely run the household and he ran the company. But right. I think that we've been able to really keep those boundaries pretty clear. We get to share each other's days. I'm out a lot with clients. And so when so we get a chance to miss each other sometimes.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece is actually sitting down with each other before you get involved in it and having that conversation on where everybody sees themselves in the business and what roles to play, and just making sure you're all on the same page. And it's been a great experience for us.
Yeah, awesome. I know before my wife was in real estate with me, the long hours and taking the phone calls, at all kinds of different times used to be look at me like, what are you doing? I mean, but when she got into business with me, she was taking some of those calls, and we actually, the relationship was even better because we understood what we were both going through, just trying to take care of our clients and really good and great service and stuff. But yeah, that's cool. So let's unpack a little bit, about your a little bit more of your real estate your background, as far as what your real estate team had looked like, and what the whole transition of why you came over to EXP. I mean, you're an independent broker owner, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, when I first called you, just like anyone, you were open to looking, you heard a little bit. I'll let you kind of explain that. And we'll go from there.
Sure. So, I'm lucky enough to have known you, Andre, for I think 17 or 18 years now. Yeah. And so when you called me and started talking to me, I was open to listening to you. And as you mentioned, I've been an independent broker owner for 18 years. So the concept of joining a brokerage was new to me, foreign to me, and didn't make a lot of sense to me initially. And honestly, something I didn't put enough thought or enough due diligence into right off the bat. And then just having the chance to have several conversations with you over the course of time, and having deeper conversations with other folks inside of EXP and the Honey Badger group, I got to know what all the perks and benefits really were. And when we really had a chance to unpack it, found out that it made a ton of sense for us.
So I know it was and I looked at the calendar before, from the day that I first called you to the day you actually joined was like 2 years in 1 day. And obviously you didn't do 2 years worth of due diligence because you're in the middle of running a business, right?
Correct.
But we slowly, got you on the call with Jay and different business partners. And, but when did what did that 2 years look like as far as the things that you did do for due diligence? And when was it that was the big aha, when you guys decided to make the move? Was that before talking to Brandy? I never even asked you about this, is because I was always talking to you.
Yes.
You wouldn't let me talk to Brandy. I didn't, I couldn't get there, but let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah. So honestly, for me, like I mentioned, the first year that we had these conversations, I was intrigued, but not really overly interested, because I'd always been my own independent person. I was in charge of everything. And I've been highly successful, and it made a lot of sense for me to continue going down that path. And I had some initial conversations with Brandy, kind of the same vibe of, well, that's cool, but we already are doing well. Why would we change what we're doing?
Right.
And I think over the course of time, as we had more conversations with you and got to really understand everything that was offered, from revenue share and how that worked and how that expanded our footprint from Colorado to 50 states and now 22 different countries, and just really opened up the leverage points, because I'm a guy who believes big in using what's available to you in different leverage points, because we can't do it all ourselves. And realizing what the team in a bigger sense had to offer, that is really what started to intrigue me. And over the course of time, we had a brokerage that was around 15 people besides ourselves. And slowly but surely, things started to happen where we had agents who would move out of state, and we loved them and they loved us, but we weren't able to work in a partnership with them in other states. And we had other folks who just didn't see the value in continuing with us in the independent model, and they went into their own model, or they went into, some of them actually followed into EXP. And as we started to crunch numbers and look at opportunity on a bigger picture, it really made sense. And then with me and you jumping on phone calls with Jay, and with you put me on 5 or 6 different phone calls with some amazing people who were doing amazing things. A lot of them, like myself, were former independents and broker owners who talked to me about their transition and how that actually helped them grow. And at that point, it really made a lot of sense. And me and Brandy were able to sit down and crunch numbers. And that's when I got her on the call with you.
Yeah. And then things started really moving, right?
That moved fast at that point. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that's like, and I thank you for kind of sharing that with us, because that's what most people go through. Most people in the beginning, especially an independent broker owners, like, I got my own company, I'm the boss. Why would I even think about doing anything? And you hear that story over and over again. But when when you do the due diligence, find out and have that question back in your mind, what if there's a better way with technology, with just how the industry is changing, what if there's a better way? And the people that are open-minded and know that they don't know, everything as things change and are just curious to do some more due diligence. And then the everything really happens when people do the numbers, when you actually crunch the numbers, and you can't really do it on your own, right? I mean, it's almost impossible because until you're in the company and the ins and outs, you can't add and subtract about how your E&O can really go down. A lot of administrative stuff can go down because EXP takes a lot of that stuff on. You can't really do the math, but when you allow me or another person within the company, we have some pretty amazing financial people like Ashley that does the numbers for us, and you can take all your agents and look at their production and then look at, okay, this is where we're at now, and this is what it would look like at EXP now. But let's look at 2, 3, 5 years from now. Right. If you say, hey, I think we'll have a 5%, 10% growth or whatever, and you just plug in those same exact percentages in the current model and then in the EXP model and look over a period of time, that's when the realization really sets in, is like, wow, right? Absolutely. And so I appreciate you guys, digging in and taking the time to do all that. And then and what was cool, when you guys did make the decision, yeah, this makes sense, even though it took us a couple of years to get there, you guys said, hey, if we're going to do this, we need to do this like in a week, right? Yes. Let's talk about that process. So you had, I think, 5 or 6 closings, and you could have, because you're the broker owner, you could have closed them out in your own company and not paid EXP anything, right? And moved over, but you guys chose to close all those deals out with EXP. And I know the reason why, but tell our listeners, the reason and explain how that process went, because that's a big deal. You're changing things out, right? And Sure. How did that go? That process.
Well, I'll speak to why, and then I'll let Brandy kind of talk to some of the details of the process. But the method and the reason for doing it as we did, in truth, is we had 6 deals that closed within 8 days of joining EXP. So not only did we shut down our independent brokerage, which had been around for 17 years, joining EXP, but then we also had 6 deals closing within a week's time frame. And the reason for us was simple. We wanted to take advantage of the ability to cap out really in our first week with EXP. So we met our number and started closing deals towards getting us towards the icon status, which we're well on our way to, and should get that taken care of here in a really short period of time. So that was the why. And I'll let Brandy speak to some of the background of how it happened and what was involved with that.
Well, honestly, going from an independent brokerage to EXP was definitely a little foreign for us. They definitely have more things to keep you in compliance and more forms to fill out and stuff like that. We were super fortunate, though, to have you and Beth help us through all of that. There's a lot of people at the state level also that were able to help us. It also helped that our team was completely on board, which was super exciting, and they're all very excited to be part of EXP. So I think that everything was super organized. And honestly, if we had an extra 10 days to transfer everything over, I think it would have even been more smooth. But no, we got it done. We got it done within 8 days. It was not a problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you brought your entire team over, right? There wasn't anyone that said, hey, we're not going. Everybody came, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And honestly, that had been one of the things before we joined, that it was one of our sticking points, is how is this going to be received by team members? What's their take going to be on this? Because there's obviously a lot of things that fall into place for them with additional, revenue that comes to EXP that wasn't going to them or to us. So that was a concern. But breaking down the model and showing them everything that was involved, everybody was on board, and everybody's super excited about the opportunities.
Let me ask you, what were your guys' top 1 or 2 things that made the difference of wanting to bring your independent brokerage over to partner with us? And what were the top 1 or 2 things that you agents got excited about, and why they definitely wanted to come with you?
Yeah, I can speak to that first for sure. Definitely that for me, training was number one. I'm going to say training is number one and number two, just because, we're always loving to have the ability to grow, but also as a team, we want to focus on mentoring and not necessarily training. And so we're able to kind of not have to wear that hat and let our agents have access to all of the other training options that are out there. And the training is amazing for sure. And I can just speak for our team. I think part of it is training, and the other part is being able to have share, and benefits are also something that I definitely have heard were important for our team members.
Yeah, most of the team members get excited about being owners, right? And having
Yeah.
stock options, and being able to start having multiple streams of income instead of just from selling houses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think that's huge. I mean, for us being the broker owners, we had the benefit of ownership, but our team members didn't, right? Our team members had go out there and sell a house and make some money. And if they brought people in, they were rewarded in some way, shape, or form, but not in the revenue share model. And so for me, it was important to be able to share all these opportunities with them, from the ability to gain stock and become owners, and revenue share, their ability to get that, our ability to get that and grow our network. And then, as Brandy mentioned, the amount of training that's available is it's second to none.
Mm-hmm.
EXP offers 50 to 60 hours of training a week, every single week, from beginning agent stuff to high level stuff to luxury to commercial, whatever. And then, of course, because of our group and the National Association of Expert Advisors, we have coaching and free training, 4 usually at least 4, sometimes 5 days a week. So if you guys all get plugged into everything that you have access to, everyone's business is just going to continue growing. That's for sure. Was there anybody excited about the health insurance? Was there anyone that didn't have health insurance, but they've looked into that or going to, that were excited about that? Or
I think it was definitely talked about by a couple of people who didn't have health insurance or didn't have great health insurance. So, I think it's just a bonus.
Another
for
perk,
sure.
yeah. I've talked to some of the team members that I know that have saved literally one person was saying $900 a month. And I think one was closer to like $1,200 a month of what they were paying of their family of like 4 or 5, because of the massive discounts that we get through the company health insurance.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. What was the most difficult part of being, a broker owner? That, and I know we just got plugged in just a month ago, but that already is, or you think is going to really help you in the EXP model. What was most difficult in the old brokerage, and how's this model gonna help you with that?
Well, I think one of the challenges with what Brandy tapped into was the training, right? The training all really fell to me, and now we have the ability to say, hey, there's 50 hours of live training going on every week. There's thousands of hours of recorded trainings going on that you can go tap into. So if you want to go learn about open houses, go there and find out. If you want to learn about door knocking, go there and find out. If you want to learn about whatever, there's opportunities to go find that. And it really does allow us to spend our time more, in-depth one-on-one with our agents and mentoring versus spending time on training. And then to me, the other thing that really EXP provides that we didn't have before are the ownership models, the revenue share models, the health insurance opportunities, just a lot of things that we weren't able to provide as broker owners at an independent level.
So you really feel that now you're able to, you still have the closeness of your team. You still provide that one-on-one service to your clients that you've always had before. With what you have access to now, how do you feel it's going to help you with your clients, with your buyers and sellers? What do you think you're going to be able to provide now that you weren't able to provide before at a different level?
Brandy?
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. I mean, for me, I think, our really, our pride has always been in connecting with clients one-on-one, and that doesn't change. I think the only thing that really changes with being inside of the EXP model is it gives us opportunities to have more tools in our belt, right? To have a wider network to refer people to in and out of state, and to get a little bit more in depth with some aspects of training. And Andre, me and you met through different coaching programs and training models way back in the day. And I'm someone who believes in constantly, upgrading myself and learning and growing. So I think just being able to connect those pieces and continue to sharpen the saw and take that back to our clients and give them the latest, greatest, most up-to-date information that's in the real estate market is a win for them.
I agree. Yeah.
Man, and having access to 75,000 agents currently, I'm sure, soon to be 100,000. You're definitely especially for investors and investment opportunities. The net is much wider, as you said. So it really helps your clients is more than you can really even imagine. But yeah, that's awesome.
And then also that we have a good amount of people moving out of Colorado, although there are a good amount of people moving to Colorado. But the people that move out of Colorado, we're able now to reach out to people in our group within EXP, and we know they're in good hands. And, you don't ever want to refer somebody out and then it not be a good experience. So we know they'll be in good hands when we send them out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I want to point out, I know you had one of your best agents there that was working with you, Damon, right? Yeah. He was in your office on your team, but he moved, right? He moved to North Carolina, and that, I think that had a little bit to do with moving things quickly too, right? Because you called me up, Sam, and thank you for that, and said, hey, Damon's moved to North Carolina. He's interviewing, all the other big name real estate companies that are there. And you told him he really needed to talk to me to really look at this model. This was before you decided it was a good fit for you. And of course, when I talked to him and he did his due diligence, it wasn't long for him to figure out that this would be a really good move for him. But because of the way it all worked out, I was just super excited that we're able to put you down as a sponsor, even though he actually was coming over before you did, right? But because now EXP's in all 50 states, that's one agent you knew you couldn't keep in your brokerage because he was moving, and now you guys are still connected and is still on your global team and part of your network. How do you think that can really benefit you going forward? With how it all worked out with Damon.
Yeah, I think to your point, that was a huge piece of the puzzle for us. I've known Damon for 30 plus years, and he was on our team for 10 years or more. And we're actually godparents to one of his daughters. And when he moved out there, he was talking to the Remaxes, the Coldwell Bankers, the Keller Williams. And I told him, hey, before you make any decisions, talk to my friend Andre and see what this is about, and then give me your honest feedback. And I told him at that point, I have no skin in the game. So if you think it's great, let me know. If you think it's terrible, let me know. And he called me up and said, hey, this is amazing. And I can't believe that I didn't pay attention to it sooner. And thank you for introducing me to this opportunity. And so me and him had some conversations. And truthfully, that's one of the things that really got Brandy a little more open to having that big conversation, and then opening the door for us to make our transition. But getting back to your question, it really did open the opportunity for us to continue to work with him hand in hand, even though he's in another state. And the truth is, we've had several agents over the course of years who have moved to different states that we could no longer partner with because we were an independent broker in Colorado. And, now that changes, because life goes on and people make life decisions and they move out of state and do different things. And And we encourage that. We encourage people to grow and, fulfill whatever their passion and their dream is. And if it's still real estate in another state, we can still partner with them now and continue to help them grow and continue to help them even expand and grow their business beyond what it might have been when they were with us here locally. So to me, that's exciting because it comes from a place of contribution where we can not only help them now, but we can help them, through the course of their real estate career, no matter where they're at.
Yeah, good stuff. Let me ask you, what surprised you the most about EXP? What were you not really expecting that's even better than you thought it would be, even though it's been maybe about a month with the transition? Anything really stick out that is better than what you thought it would be?
Yeah, I'll speak to that first. I think there's so many people just willing to help you, between you and Beth, and then the people on a state level. We've never gone without answers for long. We've always been able to either go into the world and ask questions or make a phone call or a text. And also they do a great job at our state level of getting people together in person. We office out of our house, which is what we like to do, but we also like to be able to see people and talk to people and share stories with other people as well. So that's exciting also.
I'll second that. Those are the pieces that were a pleasant surprise.
All right, perfect. Tell us a little bit about your goals. I mean, where do you think your business will be, next year, the end of this year? And do you have any 3 or 5 year goals? And has your mindset changed a little bit because of what you have at your fingertips now? What are you really excited about in the years to come?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and talk. I think for me personally, I think our tool belt's expanded. So we have everything that we had previously, but now we have all the additional pieces, for agent ownership, for revenue share, for bringing other people into the mix and letting them know what this company has to offer, the healthcare, et cetera, all of those things. And then, of course, the personal, individual things that we offer our team members, which are exclusive, that we can bring to the table. And with all that, I think, we have the best technology, the best tools, the best training, and we put our agents in a position to win and make their career everything that they want it to be. If that's them doing a couple of deals a year or them doing 50 deals a year, we have the capacity to help them reach that goal. And what that means to us is more opportunities for growth. So, I mean, our short-term goals are to get the team to a level where we're, in that 20 agent range, and in the next 5 years to push that over to the 50, 75 agent range and just become one of the dominant players inside of Colorado. I mean, we've always done well, and we've ranked in the top 1%, top 5% for the last 17, 18 years, but goals are even bigger now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So locally, in the Denver market, in that surroundings, you're definitely looking to bring on some team members. Now, are you interested in bringing on agents that are, obviously, bigger agents that might not need your specific help, but would love to kind of be in that organization, in that team atmosphere, and be able to have access to everything that EXP offers? And are you interested in growing, other, maybe agents that only have, 1 or 2 years experience? Are you looking for that? And if so, definitely your phone numbers are on there, and is that the best way for them to reach out to you to get questions answered and to see if you guys would be a good fit?
Definitely. The phone is always the best. So give us a phone call, shoot us a text. But we're interested in working with anybody from brand new agents who haven't been licensed to those who have got a taste of success but want a bigger piece of the pie. And of course, to those people who are out there and killing it right now and want to take their business to the next level. And I think we have a lot to offer everybody. And it's an exciting time to be in real estate, even though it's one of the tougher times that there's ever been in this industry. I think the opportunities are pretty much endless. And we're just looking for people who are humble, hardworking, and ready to go out there and change clients' lives and put them in a better position, build relationships, and just see this thing through.
Yeah, and I can speak to all the the handfuls of conversations and phone calls that I've made out to Sam. Some people in the beginning, they feel like, hey, maybe I'm kind of bugging them, and they don't pick up the phone or they let it go to voicemail. I know in my heart that when people actually do their due diligence and do the math and really dig in, not everybody, it's not a perfect fit for everybody, but probably 90% that actually do that, I know it's going to change your life, because it really changed mine. And kudos to you that you never blew me off. You're always, even if it's, hey, I saw it was you, I'm in a meeting, let me call you back. And I really appreciate that. But that says a lot to you guys and your character. Even when, hey, it was kind of in a distant thing, I continued following up, knowing that it could be a game changer for you. And here we are. So I know to work with you, right there in your own city or on your team would be a pleasure as well. So just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you continuing to do the legwork and not let the opportunity pass by me without me really digging in to see what it was.
Sam and Brandy, if you had, just one takeaway of what you want to make sure that if there's anyone listening today, people, real estate friends of yours, someone that you really cared about, what do you want them to take away from this interview, especially if they were maybe an independent broker owner like yourselves, and maybe, someone's reached out to them several times about EXP and they were thinking just like you, hey, I got my own company, why would I need to look at that? What would your advice be to anybody out there to make sure they took out of this interview?
So from my point of view, the number one thing is to really give it a fair listen. Pay attention to what it has to offer. Do the math. Pay attention to the pros and the cons. Weigh them out and see what it is at the end of the day that makes the most sense. For me, once we finally did that, and it was a long process, and at times I felt bad for you because I didn't always give you all the time that you probably deserved and earned. But once I did, it just makes a ton of sense. And I think if anybody out there does that and really pays attention to, what does all of the opportunity add up to, it really becomes pretty clear. It makes sense. Brandy, anything to add?
Yeah, I think that there is just a ton of opportunity to grow with EXP, and I think that I think that you should definitely give it the time and the energy to think about it and to try and figure out how it can change your life. I definitely wish we would have done it earlier, but here we are.
And that's one question I normally ask is if you could join EXP all over again, what would you do differently?
Earlier, 2 years ago when we first started talking.
Yeah, I'll say, Andre, when you first reached out to me, I think the stock was around $8, and I've done the math about hey, if we would have capped out, hit icon status, bought the stock at the discounted rate through our commission, we would be $300,000-$400,000 ahead of where we are today, and that's huge when you start looking at it from that perspective. And that was one of the things that really clicked in for me when I'm like, well, here we are today, and what's this going to look like 5 years from now? And it makes so much sense. So for me, just like Brandy, it would have been doing this when you first called.
Well, you're here now, and they're predicting on the growth that the company is growing. In the next 10 years, we should be at 100 countries and 1 million agents, and I can see that happening. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of growth. You mentioned we're in 22 countries. I hadn't even heard about the new countries yet. Last I heard was 20 because they keep adding them so quickly. It's hard to keep up. But I know we're well over 75,000 agents now, and the stock was $8.15 when I first joined. And, of course, we had a 2-for-1 stock split about 6 months ago. So if anyone's looking at the stock, look at what's happened in the last 5 years and compare it to like Realogy, the company that owns, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Better Homes Gardens, and some really great companies, right? And check out their stocks and their market cap. Those are awesome companies. and they all go up and down. Stocks obviously go up and down, but look where EXP sits compared to those great companies, and where you think it's going to be when we keep doubling and tripling in size. And what's exciting for you, for your agents that are part of this now, they're part of the ownership, and there's a lot that they'll be able to get out of it as they sell houses, and help the company grow. So I'm excited for you guys and for them, and just super excited for partner up with you, and happy about our announcement today, and looking forward to a great relationship and partnership as we continue to grow together.
We're looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, excited for the opportunity. You've introduced us to some amazing people on our path to get here, and excited for everything that's coming next.
All right, fantastic. My last question I always ask people at the end, before we sign off, if you're a reader, what's the best inspirational book that you love? Or if you're a movie watcher, what's your favorite all-time movie?
I'll go first. Absolutely love Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Sorry, Sam, I'm sure I took your book. We've both read it twice. It's a great book. I'll read it again, I'm sure.
Awesome. Yeah, she did steal my thunder there. Actually, we both did the audiobook, so you get to hear him read it. Great words of wisdom. It's a life book, more than anything else. And then there's a ton of books. We have 300-400 audiobooks in our Audible categories there. So too many to mention, but there's a lot of great stuff out there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for jumping on our Financial Freedom Forever podcast today. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome, blessed week.
Do the same.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.